Welcome to the Laws of Physical Evidence, hosted by Dr. David Lipman. How are you, Dr. David?
Good morning, Blanca. Good morning. I'm really, what's really cool? I was just thinking this, that every Thursday, by Thursday at the end of the week, there's always things that have been brewing during the week that seem to be just in the office, like thematic, with people coming in where I'm realizing that I'm talking about a lot of the same things. It's funny. And so this week, just like any other, I'm getting a lot of the same things from many people that kind of make me realize that, like, almost like the show is creating itself with real interactions with my patients during the week. And each week it seems to be different themes based on just the natural, organic way people coming in with things that are going on with them and questions they have, and me having to explain things to them or even learn some new things myself. So I'm really excited. Again, I have another one that just like previous weeks, this is another one that just kind of came out naturally from the patients that have been here.
That's fantastic. And that, it's interesting. Webcasting brings out those themes, and we're so excited to hear the wisdom that you share with our community every week, teaching us the laws of physical evidence, how we can take better care of our bodies, how we can feel better. And I have learned so much from you. So what are you focusing on today?
Well, apparently, based on what's coming in this week, the theme this week, and this is the law, is that when you're younger, you usually get injured either playing sports or working out. Mm-hmm. When you're older, you get hurt sleeping. I mean, you're waking up with pain. So that distinction, and I'm sure people that listen to this over a certain age can relate to that, but it's so true. And it's funny because this week alone, I had a mixture of some younger people in their teens and 20s coming in with either sports injuries or exercise injuries, whether they be acute or chronic things that they've been trying to work through and haven't been able to, and see that. And they completely relate it to the sport, a specific injury, a specific movement, or just something that's been building over time in their workout with certain exercises. Whereas I've had adults come in this week and they're like, I'm waking up, my back's killing me, and I don't know what I did. It's such a funny, parallel, but I've seen this consistently. But this week, it all kind of came together, and I realized, something, this is something because, and we even had a woman, I think 2 weeks ago, a patient, and she was distraught because, like, she's been in pain in different areas of her body, and like she's trying to figure out, what did she do? She's almost like trying to blame herself. Like, what did I do? I don't know what I did. Why is this happening to me? And the fact is that you get to a certain point in life, and the resilience of your body to just the everyday wear and tear, whether it's activity wear and tear, whether it's sleeping on the wrong mattress at wear and tear, whether it's sitting in a car driving, many miles or hours during the week with an improper seating, configuration. As you get older, the fact is that all these things will impact you. And again, it's important because these things can be modified to really help to manage, your day-to-day life. Because, let's face it, most people at some point in their life are going to be dealing with some kind of pain syndrome, usually an acute thing, but sometimes many people have chronic things. And trying to understand what an individual needs to do on a regular basis, how they need to sort of modify the world around them, is important to be able to really get some, success and resolution. Because I'm always very optimistic about the fact that I believe everybody should be able to live a pain-free and functional life. Now, that being said, it also requires the responsibility of knowing, let's say, I work out, so there's certain exercises that I have to size up at this point in my life. I'm going to be 60 in like 5 weeks. And when I was 25, I had a different outlook because the impact was different. But now I'll look at something like a back squat, which I was able to do without problems, in my 20s and 30s. But now I weigh out the benefit of doing it and the risk of doing it. And if that ratio is not in my favor anymore, it's out. I'm just not going to do it anymore because there's so many things I can do. And so that's when it comes to certain activities. But also understanding if I'm waking up with some kind of stiffness or pain in the morning, that says to me directly that there's something about either the way I'm sleeping or the mattress I'm sleeping on or the pillow or some combination thereat that's making me wake up in this way. And it's funny, I get this question from so many people constantly about, yeah. Like, oh, I'm like, what's the best mattress? I hear this all the time. And I wish there was.
What's the answer?
Yeah, well, if there was a one size fits all, I would sell them because everybody needs it, but there isn't. That's the point.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that you have to look at the patient to determine what the best mattress and pillow for them is? What's the answer?
The answer is with a pillow, it's a little easier because you can do measurements from where the neck and the shoulder, that distance for an individual. And obviously that's going to be different from different people because the support of that pillow, especially for a side sleeper, has to be so that it fills that space here and provides a neutral position for that head. Because if you're on your side, you can't be this way or this way all night because that's going to cause issues.
You know what we're doing? You just gave me an idea. We're going, this was my issue this week. I just said to my fiance, I cannot sleep. My neck is constantly stiff. I need a new pillow and maybe a new mattress. What if you and I go on a field trip together and you help me pick out a pillow and a mattress and why everybody has to have their own chiropractor? Because this is not just about physical health. This is about sleep too.
Yeah, absolutely. And
tell me more.
Well, we can go into the whole thing about the lack of sleep and how that affects us, but even just understanding having the right surfaces to sleep on. Now, let's just take it to a different position here now. Now, at a certain point, I realized for myself, especially with my low back issues, that the best way for me to sleep was on my side with a nice thick pillow between my thighs. And the reason is that when you're asleep, all your muscles are relaxed. They're no longer supporting you as when you're up and around during the day in waking hours. So that means that when you're asleep, gravity is still pulling straight down. So if you're on your side, your top leg is being dragged downward by gravity. And if it's in that position for many hours, it can cause overstretching of the ligaments. The joint itself can become distorted and have some dysfunction associated with it. So when you wake up, you're kind of stiff because it's been in that position for a long time. And, taking something like a thick pillow or a body pillow to create that space and support reduces that vertical stress from gravity. So that's one little thing that can make a huge difference. The other area.
So you're sleeping on your side and you're putting the pillow between your thighs. I do that. So that's good.
So, and it's good to get it. It's got to be thick enough that it actually maintains that space so that, the pelvis is in a neutral position, but that leg on the top isn't being brought down towards the other one. It's kind of staying separated. So that's one of the things that a lot of people have found that when we do that, it helps reduce a lot of that stress. The other end of that too is also the shoulders, because again, if you're a side sleeper, there's going to be compression on the side of that shoulder too when your body's on it. So positioning your shoulder where it's not just under you, but you kind of extend out and create some space there. And for the shoulder that's on the top, put a pillow between your arm and your rib cage because that same thing is happening. Yeah, because you have.
we need, okay, you know what? We're gonna find a furniture store. We're gonna get a sponsor. We are going on a field trip, and I am so fired up about this idea. Are you gonna go? Are you in?
Absolutely. It's important because a lot of people deal with this. I talk about this stuff all the time. This week, especially with a number of people that came in with similar issues. But this is something that's a staple in my practice. I want to just talk.
I got it. You know what? We're gonna get some supermodels to demonstrate the pillows and the mattress. Then you guys will watch more. I know what you guys like. They listen. I'm sure you wouldn't get in trouble for that, would you?
No.
All right. So we've got a good plan. All right. So let me ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with me.
Of course.
Does sleeping in the bed with another person aid or inhibit your sleep?
So that's a great question. So let's go back a step. Let's talk about the mattress. Now, every mattress is really specific to somebody's structure. Some people have longer torsos, let's say, or longer legs, and where their weight distribution is. Is it greater on the torso? Is it greater in the legs? So the mattress for that person has a lot to do with how those distributions are, plus whatever dysfunction's going in that body. So again, it's not a one size fits all. And the fact is that it's very difficult for one individual to be able to figure out what's the best sleeping surface for them. Now you get two people, a husband and wife or whatever, that are in the same mattress. The chances of getting one that's going to work for both of them is even more difficult. Last year or 2 years ago, my wife and I, we spent about $5,000 on like this great mattress. And within 3 weeks, we were both waking up with like stiffness in our shoulders and our neck. And we turned out getting like $1,000 old style Serta mattress that we had for our son. And it's great for both of us. So, one of the things is that more expensive doesn't necessarily mean better, because a lot of people really think that those higher end mattresses, and they try to sell you that way, are going to be good. But again, it's a very difficult thing for one person, much less two people, to do that. So I think the ability for two people to sleep comfortably is going to have the greatest impact on how those people get along sleeping restfully together. That's what I believe from my standpoint, to answer your question.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of different factors, and I think that there's a lot of preventative opportunities here for our listeners and our audience. Maybe you don't have pain today, thank God, but you know what? Maybe do a check-in with Dr. Lipman. Make sure that you are sleeping in the right areas. And
Sure.
it's good to have an expert on your side to coach you. So it's interesting because I never associated chiropractic care with the art of sleep. And so another connection that just came to me is I think that what's your opinion on CBD?
So because it's newer in the environment, in the last few years, and when it first came out, I was getting hit up almost weekly by new companies trying to, apply their wares, so to speak. But I have found some really good quality products out there that I've started to even integrate into my treatment process. So one of the things I found, as an example, with somebody that's in, let's say, significant low back pain or shoulder, upper back, or neck pain, if I do a layer of that in my initial stages on them, start to do the manual work I do, and then do a second layer before they leave, it does two things. Number one, it allows me to do that manual work much more comfortably to the patient, and it gives them a lasting benefit, because, the manual work too, we're moving things around, inflamed tissues, tight tissues, and as I'm loosening those things up, having that CBD is reducing that after treatment discomfort, which is a big help, because I always try to minimize that anyway, but that's something I more recently added because it's absolutely effective in minimizing that. And that's important too, because I'm very results oriented. I want people to feel at least 50 to 60% better from just the first time they come and see me. And something like CBD here in the office, and then giving for them to manage it for the next few days until I see them a second time, is really helpful to, again, minimize the inflammatory process, the spasm that goes in associated with it, and gets them, sort of opened up and moving more pain-free and functionally faster. So I have a great belief in that stuff topically. And the anti-inflammatory effect of the sublingual is also very effective too. And again, it's taken me a while. I've waited about 2 years to see experimenting with it before I can really say I see a consistency with the effectiveness of this stuff.
Well, that's wonderful. It looks like that you are very resourceful. You're constantly educating us about physical health and the laws of physical evidence. What is your number one law of physical evidence today?
All right. Today is, when you're young, you can get injured working out or playing sports, but when you're older, you can get injured sleeping. And that's why it's important to take a good look at the pillow, the mattresses that you're on, and making sure that they're optimized for your particular structure. So when you do wake up, you've slept well, you're rested, and you're not all stiff from those mattress and pillow surfaces. So that's a great thing to be able to understand, because it will impact you 6 or 8 hours every day of your life.
That's incredible. And anyone that asks an amazing question today of Dr. Lipman will win a 30-minute Zoom discovery session with Dr. Lipman because it's all about engagement. It's all about having interesting conversations where we can educate one another, inspire one another, and also connect. And I do have an introduction, a strategic introduction that I'm going to make to you, Dr. Lipman, the CEO of a CBD company that I've been working very closely with. I'm going to introduce you. And that's another amazing part of webcasting is that you have a lot of incredible guests on your show. And tell us about your guest next week. Who's on next week?
Yeah, so next week it's actually a really good friend of mine. We met about 25, 30 years ago. I had an office a chiropractic office in a gym in New York, and he came in as a member. And at the time, he was the drummer of a heavy metal band. Long hair, really energetic guy. We just kind of hit it off right away. I was taking care of him. We'd work out together sometimes and just developed a great friendship. But over time, as the heavy metal kind of wore down, he started taking the idea of rhythm. His life is rhythm. He's an amazing drummer. And he came up with an idea because during that time, he also took up golf. And he found for himself that there's a rhythm to the golf swing that he was able to relate to because of him as a drummer, the rhythm of life and all that. He found that he was able to create actual sound rhythms that can actually help enhance somebody's golf swing and the timing of it. And I'm not a golfer, so I'm trying to do my best to kind of illustrate this. But he has developed this program. It's called Tempo and Motion, and got to the point where he's got professional golfers actually improving their golf game, taking strokes off their handicap from this method. And it's very simple. It's very centering. And even just to the point where somebody now can listen to the rhythm of it and actually be visualizing their golf swing and put it all together. So he'll tell it way better than I can, but his name's Mike Boyko, and it's a really cool story. And again, so many golfers out here now would really benefit from hearing it and understanding what it's all about. So I'm excited to bring him on.
Well, that's amazing. I know a ton of golfers, and we also have a golf coach, Brian Gallant, in our networking group on Thursdays. So I'll be sure to spread the word. And today at 12 o'clock, there is a networking group. You can visit my lawsoflifeshop.page to check that out if you want to join the Zoom. Dr. Lipman, you are doing an incredible job educating our community every week. I love our conversations, and I can't wait for our field trip to the mattress and pillow store.
That's going to be fun. Thanks, Blanca.
Hey, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Share this webcast. Share this important information with your friends and family, and we will see you next Thursday at 11 o'clock.